Hi, and welcome to 6476 Stories for 7 a.m. because I don't care what you say, there is a famine of truth in our land, and this is your quick news fix, and the truth starts now. I'm going to tell you something. It's Monday. I'm going to start right in your face. I don't appreciate when I call people and they go, "Welcome to 647." They don't even say hello. They just start goofing me into the phone. All right. I can deal with it. I have rhino skin. You know what rhino skin is? It's so thick. You can't get to me. All right. Here's something that happened. This is the Monday morning show, but I tape it Sunday night. I stay up late to see what's going to happen. Hamas doesn't meet their deadline. What's Trump going to do? Well, I'll tell you one thing that happened because of it. Jake Tapper must have been hounding Trump to get some kind of interview, and Trump says, "Yeah, we'll do it on text." What kind of president is this? You got to love this guy. They can't cheat on the text. They can't edit it. They can, but he's got the master, right? So he can immediately prove that they're lying. I mean, in a minute. So Jake Tapper, if you don't know who Jake is, if you watch the Bantam War Room, he's a part of Bannon's whole preset. And he's on there like a squish going, "I wish, in my soul, I wish that these people had a conscience." Anyway, he's doing the interview. They're doing it by text, and you're watching it fill in, and you wait, and you see Trump's response. It's great. This guy just never stops coming up with great ideas. All right, let's get into it. Take one. That wasn't even take one. That's a bonus. The Tapas bar is open, and the chef gave you one of those things from the tasting menu. Have you ever gone to a pay too much restaurant for the tasting menu, and they bring out that first little thing? It looks like it could be a bird dropping, and it's always on a platter, and you can't recognize what it is. Is it cooked? Is it raw? What is it? It's always in some pool of something. I don't know. I don't eat it, okay? I give it to the person I'm with. So anyway, that's what that first thing was. And it's great. Texts between Trump and the legacy lying media. It's perfect. All right. Take one. Rite Aid is closing all locations, according to recent posts to the U.S. pharmacy chain's website. Rite Aid is planning to close down 154 stores. They must have a bankruptcy filing because they're getting all new financing and they got tons of litigation against them. And the company obtained $3.45 billion in fresh financing as it carried out a restructuring plan and dealt with dips in sales and opioid-related lawsuits. Yeah, those folks are being chased. I don't know anywhere else, but 20 years in New York City, I know why they went out of business, because people were running out of the stores with merchandise without paying, and nothing was happening to them. Keep that up. It doesn't work anywhere. All right, next on the Tapas bar, let's go to Virginia. This is actually an advanced reprobate mind study, but it is such an extreme case that we have to talk about it. And it's about the guy who is running to be the Attorney General of Virginia. And like many people, and this is a cautionary note, they went and they plowed through all his old texts, and they found some texts from 3 years ago, and they did not like them. Virginia Democrat Attorney General hopeful Jay Jones is being pressured to drop out of the race after text messages revealed he apparently fantasized about a Republican lawmaker being fatally shot. Thank God he wasn't a furry. He would have acted on it. In a social media post on Saturday, Governor Glenn Youngkin called out Jones for the text messages he is accused of sending in 2022 that showed him wishing a now former State House Speaker, Todd Gilbert, and his children would be killed, the New York Post reported. This violent, disgusting rhetoric targeted an elected official and his children is beyond disqualifying. J. Jones said that Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head and then hoped his children would die, Youngkin wrote. Well, that's all we need on that story. That's just, you know what? The reprobate mind, it gets carried away. And when these people get in the public eye and they start thinking they're celebrities, they think they can say anything. All right, let's go from Virginia to Mount Everest. The chef has prepared something from Mount Everest. Almost 1,000 climbers and tourists remain trapped on the Tibetan side of Mount Everest after a severe blizzard blocked access to key camps and passages, Chinese state media reports. The storm, which began Friday evening and persisted through Saturday, dumped heavy snow and rendered roads impassable in the region all the way up to where these folks are, which is over 16,000 feet up that mountain. There's got to be something else you could do with your free time and money than do that stuff. Pickleball, maybe. Rescue teams and dozens of local villagers are now working to clear snow and reopen routes into the area, but across Nepal, the Nepal border, heavy monsoon rains triggered floods, landslides, roads have been washed out, and bridges destroyed, resulting in 47 deaths there since Friday. So if it's bad there, imagine what it's like 17,000 feet up that mountain. Unbelievable. All right, Barbara Streisand pushes the panic button. America's deep trouble under Trump's regime. She wants no more of scary President Donald Trump and seeks the world to fall in behind her and support actress Jane Fonda in her quest for a return of the Committee for the First Amendment. So Babwa is here as an arms severe case with special condition. Okay, she's advanced reprobate mind, a severe case, but she has a special condition called I3S. Okay, I and 3 S's, I'm so special syndrome. So let's see what she's doing. The Oscar-winning singer and actress addressed Fonda directly in her social media post, expressing concern about what she characterized as threats to free expression. Dear Jane, Streisand wrote, we are indeed in deep trouble under Trump's regime. The entertainment community has always had strong and powerful artists standing up for democracy and freedom of speech. Our voices are always stronger together. I'm proud to be part of our community and this committee in 2025, as sad as this is, to be reliving the 1950s. She continued, Jane, I appreciate your continued activism and voice in these scary times with hope for the future. Barbara. All right, Barbara. Who cares? Let's go on. What else is in the Tapas bar? One more item. The UK Green Party backs motion to abolish landlords. Why didn't anyone think of that before? Members of the Green Party, this is in England, adopted a motion to abolish landlords in Britain as the party seeks to expand its reach and sway defected labor voters by adopting so-called eco-populist policies. Eco-populist, right? That's like democratic Marxists, eco-populists. Why didn't everyone else think about this? If you do away with landlords, then you don't have to pay rent. You see how the reprobate mind works? I don't want to pay my rent. Well, I'm going to become an activist and get rid of landlords. Well, guess who's hearing this? It's already on his Hanukkah wish list, right? Mamdani. All of the Jewish yups are falling in behind him. He's got this thing in the bag already, but he can't say this. He cannot say this until January of 26 after he's in. They already know he's in, but it has to be official before he says we're going to do away with landlords. So at the Green Party conference in Bournemouth on Sunday, members committed the party to seek the effective abolition of private landlordism. Can you imagine such a thing? Private landlordism? Wow. Private landlordism in Britain, in addition to a range of other measures to incentivize state ownership of property. Oh, that'll be better. State ownership. Have you looked at the projects anywhere on earth? They're the worst hellholes. Everything gets stolen. Nothing gets fixed. But let's have the state own everything. That's what we love. Big, big, big government, right? The motion stated, per the Daily Mail, the private rental sector has failed. It is a vehicle for wealth extraction, funneling money from renters to the landlord class. How dare they? Can you imagine charging money to let people live in your property? I can't even believe it. Who would even think up of such a thing? Man, we're going reprobate thing. You think I'm going too crazy on it. I'm not. They're nuts. They're broken. They're gone. Let's let the government own everything, right? And then you end up in 15-minute cities, and then you have to take shots every week, and then you don't feel so good. So you lay around and watch Netflix, have some CBD oil, and pretty soon they go, we got to take you to the stockyard. All right, take two. This is two things going on here that I love. So first of all, it was the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. So President Donald Trump arrived in Norfolk, Virginia to celebrate the Navy's 250th anniversary on Sunday, despite the ongoing governmental shutdown. It didn't slow this down at all. In a message posted late Friday on his social media platform Truth Social, he said, I believe the show must go on. He promised that it would be the largest celebration in the history of the Navy. The visit comes as Washington remains at a standstill over the budget, which forced the federal government to shut down on Wednesday. And the legacy media won't tell you it's because the Democrats wanted a $1.5 trillion cutout, supposedly to buy health care for all of the illegal immigrants. But it's to regenerate all the money they're missing from USAID and all of these slush funds they had to operate against the United States and against. They don't really have to operate against the Republicans. Most of them are compromised and feeding at the same trough. But they want to keep paying for upheaval and paying for the legacy media and all of this stuff so that we're constantly agitated and saying, what the hell is going on with our country? And why is everything inverted here? And why has nobody got any common sense? And why do I never see anything that gives me any sense of satisfaction? Well, people are still saying that. So this group we better see some perp walks. We better see some grand juries. We better see some military tribunals. Second thought, scratch the grand jury. Let's just cut straight to the military tribunals. And as long as we're talking about that, why do you think, this is what happens. I start wanting to have a nice celebratory thing about the Navy, and it gets into what's really going on, but I can't help it because my mission is to help solve the famine of truth. So you all are seeing everything happening in front of you, but you don't understand what you're seeing, right? And I'm guilty of it too. I watched Trump go to England. What the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm going to Windsor Castle. I'm the first guy to ever go to Windsor Castle. Hey, look, I'm the first guy to ever do the inspection of the troops. Hey, look, Melania and I are walking in front of Charles and his whatever she is. And look, Melania is wearing a bright yellow dress with a sash. It means something. I'm too stupid to know what it means. I find out a week later. It means royalty. He's the doggone king of England, and we don't realize it. That's why he's at Windsor. That's why he's walking in front of Charles, and Charles doesn't do anything. That's why he's reviewing the troops. That's why Canada's going to be the 51st state. That's why he says that stuff. He says it, and the legacy media goes, he's insane. We should do the 25th Amendment. He's not insane. He's foreshadowing. He's letting you know this is what's going to happen. And then I try to share it with people close to me, and they go, you know, Chuck, this thing's getting to him, man. He's starting to lose it. No, I'm not. All right, so Trump has this great celebration. It was fantastic. He's on the aircraft carrier and everything. But I just want to return to this. Why do you think you're seeing National Guard in LA, DC, Chicago, Oregon, Memphis? Why do you think you had 800 generals all come so that Pete could give them a personal hygiene speech? And why did they all go to Quantico? Because the military has taken over our government, because our government does not represent the Constitution anymore. Everybody's compromised from the Supreme Court all the way down. Not all of them, but enough that you can't count on them. There's only two you can count on in the Supreme Court. So all of these military folks all over these major cities, and by the way, changing things. You should look at Memphis now. Memphis, the people living in Memphis were afraid to go to the grocery store. Now they're saying the same thing the people in DC are saying. Thank God for Donald Trump. Please don't ever go away. This is amazing, right? But it's doing something more than just fixing the crime in these cities. It's getting you used to seeing people in military garb running things. And that is our immediate future, because we, as sheep, let these politicians compromise us right out of our constitutional republic. And so now we have to have military rule to get it back to where it was and to expunge all the criminal leadership in our government. And that's what we're going to be watching for the next 6 months. And that's why there's a shortage of popcorn. But you didn't listen to me. Also this weekend, if you saw Pete Hegseth at the Naval Academy, he was spectacular. It was so wonderful to see all of those cadets so pumped up for this guy. And he was just continuing to get them into a frenzy. And then they did some push-up thing. He did over 3,000 push-ups. He broke the record on push-ups. Then the team was so pumped up that Navy won the football game, and then he's in the locker room with all those football players afterwards. What a speech he gave to those guys. They were just absolutely pumped, and he's saying, we got your back, no more woke military, and whatever you need, I'm there for you. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. Makes you so proud. All right, take 3. This is about Hamas missing the 6 p.m. deadline, right? This is why Jake Tapper, he already knew they were going to miss the deadline. He just wanted to catch Trump in a gotcha moment to say, well, you said complete obliteration was what was going to happen at 6 o'clock. I guess you're a big blowhard. I guess you're just talking smack. You can't back it up, blah, blah, blah. Well, Trump's not going to give him that. Hey, Jake, I'll text with you, dude. So they missed the cutoff. There was no complete obliteration. You can never tell with Trump whether or not he's going to do that or not. I don't think he wants to give Netanyahu complete reign because Netanyahu will murder his own people if it gets him what he wants. We've seen it. So what Trump was saying on the text is, hey, all sides are working hard together, and this week is going to bring fantastic results. So Jake didn't get what he wanted. Trump didn't get what he wanted. Netanyahu didn't get what he wanted. I guess only Hamas got what they wanted with the help of Lindsey, that MF bastard, Graham. So here's Lindsey in the mix, right? It's not enough that he's involved in all the laundering of money in Ukraine. So it says, to Senator Lindsey Graham, a close ally of Mr. Netanyahu's, this was, in essence, a rejection of Hamas, of the president's proposal, he wrote on social media. Thanks, Lindsey. You know what? I hope Trump stomps this guy flat when this is all over. The only reason that nobody bugs him is he's such a complete whore that they can tap him and he'll vote anyway. He'll flip 180 on the same day. He does not care. The guy has no moral compass, right? And then Michael Herzog, Mr. Netanyahu's former ambassador to the United States, he's saying about what Trump was counting on. It was a no cloaked in a yes. Where else but in government do you hear that kind of crap? It was a no cloaked in a yes. Right. So Hamas said yes, but they really meant no. And that was supposed to embarrass Trump. Trump had a 5-star day and they can't embarrass him. He owns them. All right. Let's go on to take 4. Attorney General Pam Bondi to appeal Biden-appointed judge's woefully insufficient sentence of transgender furry in Kavanaugh assassination plot. This is Breitbart and Amy Furr writing. A Biden-appointed federal judge who sentenced the man found guilty of attempting to assassinate U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in 2022. And oh, by the way, she doesn't say it, but he had plans to kill 2 other ones. The judge is being accused of leniency in the case. Judge Deborah Boardman sentenced Nicholas Roski to 8 years in prison on Friday, Fox News reported. Roski is a transgender person or a man living as a woman who goes by the name Sophie. The sentence is more lenient than what the Department of Justice had sought. Prosecutors said Roski should face at least 30 years, while Roski's defense team asked for 8. So what does the Biden judge give? 8, the minimum, for not only trying to kill Kavanaugh, but his family too. And this guy was there with the tools, with the handcuffs, with the rifle and the gun, everything, right? Unbelievable. So at the Justice Department, we'll be appealing the woefully insufficient sentence. This is Pam going after this now. Appealing the woefully insufficient sentence imposed by the district court, which does not reflect the horrific facts of this case. This is why we have to go to military governance and military court proceedings. Because in DC, you cannot, all you can get is a leftist result. Social media users were quick to reply to her post. One person said, good, transgender criminals should not get preferential sentences. That should not even be taken into consideration what sexual deviancy they possess. Absolutely true. Apparently, being trans exempts one from the consequences of their illegal acts. 8 years for the attempted murder of one of our Supreme Court justices is a travesty. Congress should impeach the judge in this case. Who is she? Let's go back and get it. Deborah Boardman, right? Deborah Boardman wants Sophie, the transgender murderer, to do the minimum time. Thanks, Deborah. What a patriot you are. All right, take 5. New York issued driver's license to migrant but didn't require first name, didn't require a middle name. And guess what? It's a commercial driver's license. This is a clown driving a big semi on the highway. And we've already had multiple accidents from these idiots because they don't speak English and they're causing accidents and Americans are dying. And what does the New York State DMV? Those guys are ordered to do this by the governor of the state, that bucktooth billionaire Ganef Kathy Hochul. All right, let's go to what we got here. The revelation came as Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt said a man caught up in a raid that ensnared 125 illegal immigrants in his state had a New York commercial driver's license, no name given, in the place of his first and middle monikers. If New York wants to hand out CDLs to illegal immigrants with no name given, that's on them, said the governor. The moment they cross into Oklahoma, they answer to our laws. The Republican wrote in a social media post Monday, along with a picture of the driver's license. There's no name on here. There's not even a last name that I can see. I'm looking at this thing. And they're handing out a commercial driver's license to this guy. So a spokesperson for the New York DMV said the license was real, okay? And they said most immigrants only have one name. That's just BS. Most immigrants have 3 to 4 names, right? That's the way Spanish people name their kid. It's not a bad system either. So you get your name, your first name, and you get a middle name. Then you get the mom's last name. Then you get the dad's last name. So when you say your name, people know there's 2 arms to the family and they know people on each one. It's not a bad thing. But what New York State's doing is a terrible thing, and it's why it will need to be taken over. And listen up. Trump said months ago, Mamdani will never be mayor of New York City. That's like Canada's going to be the 51st state. That's like him going over to England and what's the first thing out of his mouth? He looks at Melania and goes, what a beautiful queen she is. And everybody's like, 25th Amendment, this guy's losing it. He's not losing it. He's trying to tell you what's actually going on, but you can't see it. Oh, I don't get it. Oh, he's not the king. He doesn't have a crown. And we'll get him a crown, trust me. All right, so that's the end of the New York State. Another embarrassment, another reason why we need military governance, because we have blue states that are run like asylums. All right, take 6. It's our advanced reprobate mind study. We've already had 2 exceptional studies worked into the main thing because why is this happening? I warned you. This reprobate thing, you're going to see it everywhere. You're going to hear it from inside your families if you're not already. And you're going to see it in your communities. And you're going to see these reprobates in little positions of power, big positions of power, and they're going to try to do this crazy stuff and do it on the sly. There's not going to be any more on the sly, especially if you pay attention and speak up. Pay attention and speak up. All right. So here's this guy's so awful. Inside Howard Rubin's perverted New York City penthouse with a built-in sex dungeon where he allegedly tortured dozens of women. Okay? So if you live outside of New York City or Los Angeles, you've probably never encountered a property with a sex torture dungeon. But I have. I was a real estate broker in New York City. And one day, a broker from the company I was working with said, hey, I have to be out of town. Could you show this property for me for the weekend? And I said, sure. And she goes, I just want to show you you can decide if you want to show it or not, but it is a feature. It's a trap door in the master bedroom that goes down to a room that's uniquely furnished. That's all she said to me, right? Nice setup, nice broker. So I go there to show this. I go down in there, man. So bad. Just every different way you could strap somebody up, cattle prods, manacles, leather mask, every kind of awful thing. Didn't even want, just terrible. And it's a feature. And it probably sold the property. I didn't sell it. I just showed it for one weekend. I took a few people down there and they were like looking at me like, are you kidding me? I'm so out of here. It was running people out of the place. So I stopped showing them the dungeon anyway. But other brokers tell me the same thing, that they've shown places that have these dungeons. These people have too much money and they're too inbred and they're too nuts. They're nuts and they're socially retarded. And that's why they have to use money to leverage women who need money to torture them and torment them because they had no real success with them. So here's the story. A short walk from the home where longtime Wall Street financier Howard Rubin lived with his wife and 3 children in Manhattan, he kept a second apartment, a short walk from the house. The $18,000 a month penthouse at the Metropolitan Tower condominium on 57th Street. This is what I mean by too much money. He's got $18,000 just to blow on an apartment to remodel and make a sex dungeon in. Just below Central Park, has excellent views, but most of his visitors never got to see them. According to prosecutors, Rubin converted the place into a seedy, built-in sex dungeon where he allegedly tortured dozens of women with savage beatings, rape, and even electrocutions. Among the items in the room, this is his assistant, Jennifer Powers, married with kids. It's unbelievable. Among the items in the room was an X-shaped St. Andrew's cross and bed, each with restraints where the women could be bound, chained, and gagged according to authorities. Also inside the dungeon was a collection of sex toys, full face masks with zippers, ropes, chains, metal hooks, and other devices such as a cattle prod used to inflict harm, according to his alleged victims. On July 30th, 2012, Powers, who allegedly helped lure dozens of women, kind of an Epstein feel here, right, for him to abuse, emailed Rubin with details of how she had furnished the dungeon. Rubin made most of his fortune working for George Soros. Demoniacs. This is the reprobate mind then fully worshiping Satan and doing these kinds of horrible things. And guess what? His little admin is just as guilty as he is. The Epstein, I can't think of her name, the woman who's in jail and knows where everything's hidden. Can't believe she's still alive, and I can't remember her name, and I'm happy I can't. All right, last one in the advanced reprobate mind syndrome. I don't know who to give that title to in this story. Male bus driver who goes by Ms. Sharon, charged with sexually abusing multiple boys. All right, this is a school bus driver in North Carolina. This isn't nasty, decadent, too much money, no morals, secular New York City. This is North Carolina where this crap is going on. Charlotte, but guess what? There's a big influx of New Yorkers down to that area of North Carolina. And North Carolina has changed. Go to Nashville now. Nashville has changed, right? This is what libs do. They find a beautiful spot and they go down and they take over the government. They change all the policies. They ruin it. They're soft on crime and everything deteriorates. And then they move on. They're like locusts. All right. So a North Carolina school bus driver who calls himself Ms. Sharon and wears a Diana Ross wig. And by the way, he's ugly, male or female. This guy is just butt ugly. Has been charged with sexually assaulting several boys whom he lured to his house. Cops say Lee Twain Daryl Tate, Yola Twain. Gonna have some recreation where you're going, man. A 48-year-old male, also known as just Sharon or Ms. Sharon, was arrested Tuesday and charged with 2 counts of statutory rape, 6 counts of indecent liberties with a minor, according to Charlotte Mecklenburg police. He's accused of assaulting at least 4 boys, 14 and 15 years old, but officials said there could be more victims. And he's driving for a charter school. And guess what the name of the charter school is? Sugar Creek Charter School in Charlotte. Let's be inclusive. Let's hire a guy in a Diana Ross wig to drive the school bus for young kids. Are you kidding me? Everyone should get a reprobate mind sign. They should all have to wear ARMS armbands for thinking this was okay. You know, we're so DEI, we're so inclusive. We have a furry bus driver, and guess what? Did he do the unexpected? No, he did not. Are we getting this? I hope so. Because I think the whole reason that this whole progression to the golden age of the United States is taking so long is because Americans will not pay attention and get with the program. You can't keep doing this stuff. You can't keep saying, you walk your kid out, put him on the bus, and Miss Sharon is sitting there singing, "My world is empty without you, babe." No. This girl has to be in jail, and there has to be somebody responsible driving that bus. That's just one thing. There's a million of them every day, and we go, well, I'm busy. I don't want to make trouble. Maybe, just because he looks like that doesn't mean he's not a nice person. Yeah, but it's a huge indicator that nothing normal's going on. So get with the program, please. Adjust to the fact we're going to have military rule. Did you watch the news cycle last week? It was all documents being posted online, on camera. Barack Obama, treason, right? Documented. They went to Mar-a-Lago to try to find this document he walked out of the White House with that proves Obama had them change everything, that he is the originator of all of this treason, and that 2020 was indeed stolen overtly. It's all going to be turned over. And what are you going to be talking about at paddleball? Well, we talked about this for years, and everyone said 2020 was not stolen. Every time I turned the TV on, they said it's not stolen. Knock it off. All right? Until you can figure this out, I don't want you to share us. I don't want you to make comments. I don't want you to embarrass me out there. Yeah, I listened to 647. Didn't learn a thing. I'm not doing this for my health. I'm trying to get rid of the famine of truth. Apparently, the only way that can happen is, dear God in heaven, please, the omniscient God of the universe, put your arms over this family of people and bless them, Lord, and give them your wisdom and discernment. So when they see things, they hear the nudge of the Holy Spirit and they go, no, not acceptable. Have a good Monday.